and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be talking about the qualities or modes within astrology. Now last year I addressed the elements, which are fire, earth, water and air, and with each of these elements comes a quality or a mode, and these qualities are cardinal, fixed and mutable. Now before we do get into this, these videos are the introduction videos, if you will, for my square segment to the Ultimate Zodiac Showdown series. I did make the trine segment to the series already, so if you want to check out those videos, then the Ultimate Zodiac Showdown playlist is going to be somewhere. You can go to that link, or I'll put it in the description box as well. Okay, so it's the modes that represent the three ways in which the four elements energy flows. It's the mode that represents the style of action and reaction that we adopt when we are dealing with other people and situations that we attract. And this is essentially why it would be within our best interest to note which of the three modes are most dominant within our chart, specifically when it comes to the sun, moon and rising. So with all that being said, in this video I'm going to be talking about the mutable energy. I've talked about cardinal, which is the first, okay, it's the first mode to take place, and then it's fixed, and lastly we're finishing with mutable. I just really recommend that you watch all of the modes. The mutable signs then are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. In the cardinal video we talked about how the cardinal signs are the movers, the shakers, the go-getters, the self-starters of the zodiac. Then in the fixed video we talked about how the fixed signs come along after the cardinal signs and they finish what they start. The fixed signs are the consistent and persistent ones. They're the ones who remain loyal to any situation that they encounter or project that they participate in. But the mutable signs, however, they come along and they weaken the strong resistance that the fixed signs often put up to avoid being adjusted or amended. Astrologer Bill Tierney, he actually likes to think of the action of the modes as a metaphor for our breathing cycle. He suggests that the cardinal phase is like the inhale, where we sense an upward surge of rushing air seemingly moving into our head. This helps us from passing out, respectfully so, and it helps us to vitalize our bodies. Essentially referring to how the cardinal signs are awake and alert. Then next comes the fixed phase. This is when there is a stillness, when we momentarily are not really breathing, where we actually can hold our breath, right? And what this does is it creates a static power rather than a gathering of energy. But the longer that you hold it, the power becomes more and more intense, building strong pressure inside. And this right here refers to the inner strength of the fixed signs, you see. And lastly comes exhale, right? Meaning that it's the mutable phase in which we finally release our breath and we distribute the contents back into the world. And this act completes the cycle of respiration, in which a transitional exchange takes place, making room in our lungs for a new cycle of air to refresh us and allowing the cycle of breathing to then repeat. Much like the mutable signs, who allow for the cycle of the modes to repeat. So let's actually do this breathing technique together so we can really get a feel for what we're talking about here. So we got cardinal, right? We're going to inhale. Right, see that first motion, that is the cardinal. That's the action. That's it. You're initiating it. You're starting it. But then when we do come up, that's fixed. You can feel that pressure in your lungs just gathering up. It's just like, and naturally the exhale. So inhale, exhale. Let's do it properly. Feels good. So in a nutshell, guys, cardinal is when we initiate, fixed is when we persist, And mutable is when we change or adapt. Seems pretty reasonable, doesn't it, to be able to take action, remain consistent in our efforts. But if something happens in which we must change, then it's up to us to make the change, to really reassess where we are at. It's about addressing that which can be improved or that which requires a little touch up. Take creating a YouTube video, for example. As the creator of a video, you must first initiate by starting the process to really get the ball rolling. Say an idea just sparks in your mind and you're like, oh yes, this would be an amazing idea for a video. But remember, it is merely an idea until you take action on the idea. But once you start it, you must then focus and concentrate on the process. You must stay consistent with the idea. So doing the research, writing things down, practicing what you want to say, recording the video itself, editing the video, uploading the video, keeping at it until the end. However, then you can reassess the current structure of your videos. Take my own channel, for example, right? I can decide to change up the thumbnails, I can change the layout, change the content itself, create different series, as do other YouTube creators and astrologers on YouTube. Take the closing line that I consistently say at the end of my videos. I say, very, very soon, bye! Maybe I could just change it to, peace out, or catch you later. No, that's not gonna work. But ultimately, guys, what I'm trying to say here is that it's the mutable energy that comes along and it alters things. It helps change our course of direction if ever we feel too stagnant or in need of a little spice in our lives. You know? Spice Girls? Get it? And it's being flexible and adaptable, which makes changing our course of direction possible. In fact, it's the term mutable that stands for subject to change, which is exactly what the mutable signs do. Therefore, the very power of the mutable signs is that they are flexible, adaptable, versatile, and extremely resourceful. They come along and they switch things up. They transition from the old to the new. And what this does is it leads the way for the cardinal signs to then start the new cycle. But first, they must ask the fixed signs to loosen up a little bit. And by doing so, they can shift themselves or their environment in a way that better suits them. Their very task is to break down forces that have already peaked in expression, which now need to be released and reformulated. See, the fixed signs energy can become far too crystallized to increase the vital flow of the life force that was first animated by the cardinal signs. So the mutable signs, they play a major role in redistributing the energy as they stay open to the various ways of life. And what this does is it introduces us to new paths of information. Therefore, the mutable signs, they know how to bounce back. The mutable signs come along and they make guacamole out of avocados. Seriously, just watch how quickly a Gemini can distribute the information and news that they learn. 1 minute you'll be telling them about their day, then next minute you'll know how to hit a serve in tennis, where to see blue whales, how many times you should reheat rice, and when the best time to visit Amsterdam is. Watch how overwhelmed a Virgo gets when they're removing any unwanted items from their bedroom. They will ruthlessly clear away anything that looks out of place or that simply must go. And they won't wait around either. Watch how widespread and rampant a Sagittarius can act when it comes to their sincere beliefs, as they almost expand their minds to the point of no return. Though naturally they can also contract their minds just as much. Let's not forget about Pisces, who will easily sacrifice their own interests because of how they can sensitively interact with people from all walks of life. It's the mutable signs which are at the final month of each season. So we got Gemini at the end of spring, Virgo at the end of summer, Sagittarius at the end of autumn, and Pisces at the end of winter. Naturally, this is within the northern hemisphere. So it could be suggested that the mutable signs, they find it easier to let go. But due to their changeability, it could come with slight challenges as well. For example, they might worry quite a bit. They might experience panic attacks or mental tension because of the anticipation of what's to come. For example, a Gemini, they might change the topic just so things don't get too deep or serious. A Virgo, they might become stressed if they overlook an item on their to-do list or if they can't quite compartmentalize their frame of thought. A Sagittarius, they just might run for the hills faster than you can say, Sagittarius, if you dare tell them that they should take responsibility for the decisions that they have made. And a Pisces, they might simply just lay in bed all day because they just don't want to face reality anymore. Okay? Ultimately, the mutable signs, they educate us about life's multi-layered nature. It's the mutable mode which activates our mental curiosity, whereby we sometimes are left with more questions about life than already answered. And so it's understanding that nothing is quite firm and absolute in the world of mutability, as everything shifts from one phase to the next. It's accepting that life is full of twists and turns, which can make long-term goals rather tricky for mutable types. Okay, so how exactly do the mutable signs adapt? Gemini is the mutable air sign, and they are all about adapting and adjusting the style of communication to any fluctuating circumstance or human interaction. And it's air that is all about communication and human interaction. It's actually Gemini who wins when it comes to expressing the most obvious mutable traits. This is certainly obvious given the fact that it's being performed through their communicative skills. Skills that some would say are rather out in the open. Much like mutable air can switch direction unhampered by time or structure, Gemini improvises and displays their intelligence in order to achieve their objectives. This is essentially why getting into a debate with a Gemini just might be a rather bad idea for those types who aren't all that quick enough to respond to the powerful words of logic, which come from their overloaded mind of information and data. Naturally, this is due to the fact that they are ruled by Mercury and that they're impressed by anything that sounds brilliant. They want to cover a lot of intellectual territory. Seriously, Gemini will have a comeback for anything that you throw at them. Take Jordan Peterson, for example. He's a Gemini and he is a clinical psychologist from Canada. Let's just say, guys, that Jordan Peterson has quite the name for himself now, given the lectures that he hosted in the University of Toronto. It's Gemini who possesses the mental equipment made for exploring a wide range of interests. And in doing so, what they do is they rack up so much knowledge that leaves others just gasping for more. Much like mutable air can come along and just sweep you away due to the gusts of wind, a Gemini will sweep you away due to the gusts of their sharp mind, tongue and hands. Their minds are going 50 miles per hour, whilst the Aquarian's mind is going 100 miles per hour. But what they do is they connect the various pieces of information together in multiple ways, which makes them masters when it comes to figuring things out. Not to mention that they're masters when it comes to words and language. Gemini love how words sound. They love to play around with words. They love to use words as tools. They understand that they're tools. And if their air ever does feel slightly stale, they will use their words to set a new subject or a conversation or an interest in motion. Because mutable air is all about keeping communication and human interactions in motion in order to continuously keep learning for the sake of learning. Now, Virgo, on the other hand, a sign who isn't overly concerned with keeping communication in motion in order to learn, but rather using the communication and directing it towards being of service. Virgo is mutable earth. They are all about adapting and adjusting practical applications when it comes to the material world. And it's Earth that is all about the earthly realm. But more specifically, a word Virgo loves. More specifically, Virgos edit and fix situations so that life around them can become more effective and efficient. Therefore, Virgo is more practical than Gemini, but is just as intelligent. Virgo is ruled by Mercury as well, you see. It's Virgo that has the ability to bend and shift in practical ways, whilst always looking for simple solutions that work. Try to imagine the fixed Earth, which is Taurus, as this huge compost of like this pile of Earth just all gathered up. But mutable Earth, Virgo, it acts more like sand, as sand is a part of Earth that can easily be reshaped. It's a much more fluid form of Earth. If you think about it, right, as you walk along the beach, you can easily see the footprints that you and others create along the way. Exact details of your shoe will show up in the sand. And this right here is Virgo, who has a somewhat obsession with how everything in life works down to the finer details. It's Virgo who can remain self-disciplined enough to stay focused on the details and not mentally wander like Gemini can. They are much more keen observers. And they like to really polish and refine their work continuously until it shines. Every minute of the day is productive. Every minute of the day is used to gain tangible results which they can measure and compare and analyze. But don't get it mixed up, people, because Virgo is still flexible. They're not so rigid like their cardinal Earth sister sign, Capricorn. This is because they are able to correct things in a heartbeat. And this is all due to their down-to-earth intellect that keeps them humble, hardworking, and willing to correct any mistakes that they or others make. Sagittarius, on the other hand, a sign who couldn't really care less about the details but is more focused on the bigger picture, Sagittarius is mutable fire. So they are all about adapting and adjusting action, because fire is all about action. Sagittarius comes along and spreads their many moral codes, belief systems, and philosophies like, well, fire. A great way to think of mutable fire is by thinking of a forest fire. This fire can go beyond its original boundaries to cover more and more territory when left unchecked. The thing to keep in mind here is that nature has this amazing way of using spontaneous forest or bushfires to help rejuvenate the ecosystems involved, meaning that it's Sagittarius who wants its own fires of inspiration and action to distribute themselves widely and to, well, keep on spreading. They, much like the forest fires, they go beyond their boundaries and they cover more territories. And they will literally travel to many far and wide destinations in order to do this. Especially if it means uplifting other people with their optimism and faith. It's Sagittarius who gets up and greets the world with their greater meaning of life. And they do this by learning, teaching, and adjusting any negative attitudes or actions other people have. Now, much like Gemini and Virgo are highly intellectual and logical, Sagittarius has an intelligence that burns rather brightly as well. However, being ruled by the planet Jupiter, they are more abstract in their thought processes as they observe and theorize on a larger scale basis. They urge humanity to expand their mind, provided that they don't go the opposite way and contract their minds due to potential blind faith, of course. And this is really because, well, Sagittarius has the tendency of believing that they're on the right track with their many beliefs and concepts that, well, they simply know all they need to know. Now, Pisces is another sign that needs their grand and visionary ideas that can really inspire their collective hopes and dreams. Yet, it is a lot more emotional than mental in temperament. Pisces is mutable water, And they are all about adapting and adjusting their emotional state of not only themselves, but of everyone else around them. And naturally, it's water that's all about our emotions. Pisces is the most receptive to cosmological theories that attempt to unify all that exists under one universal law. And they do this via their imagination, mysticism, and through compassion. And whilst they may not sharply analyze details like their opposite sign Virgo, they possess a knack for synthesizing many diverse factors and arriving to a better understanding of the whole picture of life, not just little bits and pieces. They emotionally moisture everything that they touch, kind of like a light mist. It's not so much about being drenched in the water, like cardinal water, more a light drizzle of water, kind of like a light drizzle of rain, you could say. And as well, their emotional sensitivity is less contained. Meaning, guys, that Pisces can flow in and out of the inner worlds of others more than any other sign. And being ruled by Neptune, they can link with others in less visible ways. And this can be performed through the likes of dreams and fantasies, in which they can use these things as tools to help them manifest their preferred life, provided that they don't get caught up in another person's life. This is because they are easily mirrored and reflective. Therefore, they must learn to set boundaries between themselves and others. Overall, guys, the mutable signs are the ones who are flexible and versatile in any given situation. And even though they are great at multitasking, unlike the fixed signs, they can become easily influenced and swayed. I mean, we have Gemini with the shiny new objects that they pick up on a daily basis, meaning their gadgets and their technology. We have Virgo with the many new diets that they try throughout the year. We've got Sagittarius with the multiple guru figurines that they just spread across their room. And we have Pisces, where they have several crystals in their car, bathroom, under their pillow, in their gym bag. What am I talking about? Pisces do not go to the gym. I'm just joking, I'm just joking. Though still, if not for Gemini's curiosity, how would we learn new information? If not for Virgo's discernment, how would we know which information is best for our health and well-being? If not for Sagittarius's thirst for adventure, how would we learn more about the world around us? And if not for Pisces' ability to dive into the depths of themselves, how would we connect with the knowing that the universe is us and that we are it? Ultimately, the mutable signs are extremely resourceful as they inspire us to reassess the actions that we have made in order to keep evolving. They certainly know how to keep humanity on its toes. So, if you're looking to make a change in your life, then look no further than a mutable sign. They will happily show you how it's done. Okay guys, so that concludes my video on the mutable signs within astrology. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing as always. And if you would like to see more videos from myself and you've not yet clicked that subscribe button, then go right ahead. It's somewhere there. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!